Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is Quotes 272. All right, today we have another one by Socrates, the famous Greek philosopher. Okay, let's take a look at the quote here. I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. Okay, let's take a look at the note here. Of course, Socrates could teach. He had many students, including Plato, who became, a great philosopher on his own. When Socrates says, I cannot teach anybody anything, he means, in the end, a person can only learn if they are willing to learn. If one is willing to open one's mind and question things and have a true desire for knowledge, he or she can learn. And this can only be accomplished through thinking. Okay. You can force students to remember something for a test, but that is not really the same thing as learning. Studies have shown students forget the far majority of material studied in school. Yeah, so even though you could force them, you could repeat something 1,000 times, and that may stay in their head for a while, but it won't stay with them forever. Let's continue. In the end, a student learns by his desire to accept knowledge. A good teacher will teach a student to think for himself and question everything. Through this method, students are likely to absorb more, so more will stay there. The teacher teaches the student to become his own teacher, and this is done through thinking, of course. The teachers who simply demand a student to simply repeat what he is told doesn't do any service to the student, because once the student's gone, once the student is no longer his student, he's just going to forget. He's not going to care, especially if he never really wanted to learn. It's going to go like in one ear and out the other anyway. A student, whether young or old, only becomes knowledgeable by opening the door. Opening the door for knowledge, of course. If students immediately reject and never question deeper, knowledge cannot advance. So the key part really is teaching students to think for themselves. In that sense, then they can learn more, absorb more, and carry more knowledge with them through life and advance more. Okay, anyway, I hope you got it. Hope it's clear. Hope it was food for thought. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.